Hi guys, welcome along to this week's episode. So we're going to be seeing lots of Alex doing this patio. Also this week,
I'm going to need a bit of assistance here actually.
I'm using the masonry bit to go through wood. This is not an ideal day to be doing this.
Hello, for today's project I'm going to be knocking out these joists ready to take floorboards. Now as you can see the floor joists are running this way, and what we've got is a transition from the joist running the opposite way, and we want the floor joist to run down the length of the room. So what I'm having to do is every 400 centres I'm having to put a noggin in. As you can see, there's already been some put in, but I don't know what the thinking was, but we have done them at larger than a 400 centre, and that's a bit of a no-no when it comes to floorboards. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put in an extra noggin just to close the gap up so it makes it a better job structurally, if you know what I mean. So that's why I'm doing that. It'll be glued and screwed to make sure that I've got a really good positive fixing into it. So that's the prep work I'm doing this morning, and hopefully this afternoon I'll be able to get some floorboards in, so that'll be good.
So today me and Phil are doing soffit up here on the roof. So the way we've been doing it, we've been making a sketch on a bit of board like this and then collecting a few measurements from various different points and then transferring it downstairs onto a larger sheet of material and getting it up here and then just doing some fine tuning. So what I'm going to do now is draw out what I actually need to take measurements of, and then when we get back downstairs I'll have something to go off, like a diagram. So this is like the start of the sketch, what I'm going to create now. Obviously this is representative of this section here of the soffit. Then you've got your bit that touches the fascia here, so that's that bit. We've got a angle on the back for the bevel, because as you can see that like 90 degrees is probably somewhere like there, and obviously that just kicks over a little bit, so that's important to collect that. So basically we've got that there. Then we're coming off this piece of wall here a little bit, so it's going to be something like that, and then we're connecting onto that little piece of soffit over there, so that's going to be something like that, and then it's going to go like that, and then we're just coming straight across the back edge just above cameraman's head of the fascia, so it's going to be something like that. So that's going to be an angled cut there, because it's not 90 degrees, so we'll have to remember to keep our bevel on that. So all I'm going to do now is just go through and take different measurements with Phil's assistance, just to get them there or thereabouts, and then get it downstairs, cut it on a larger piece of 12mm tricoya MDF, not normal MDF, because I know we'll get slated in the comments for it, but this is like tested and proven that you can use this outside, so it's fine. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Right then, so we're going to go from this point here to about there, which is where the start of the angle starts. So I get my tape on there, and I'd say that's about 240. So back onto the diagram, so 240 there. Then we're going to measure this bit here that runs along there. So I'll just take a measurement. I said 800. That would give ourselves a little bit of leeway. That would give us 5mm either side. 800. Then we need the point where we hit this intersection point. So I'm going to need a bit of assistance here actually to hold the tape. That's a dotted line there just to represent from here. So from this bit here, we had 1170, so that's the start of where this angle starts along here, and then we've got our measurement there, which is 190, which is basically the narrow bit of soffit board before this angle starts. And then using these measurements now, we're going to collect another one just along the bottom edge here, just to represent from the point over there where we've done our other soffit board, just the end here, what we need to cut it at, and then that should be enough. Right, so following on from the scaffold, this is our diagram, and then all I've done is just basically enlarge this on this piece of board here. So if you imagine the tight corner I was in up there is this piece here that we've actually had to use a bevel on because you can't presume it's 90 degrees, which it isn't. So effectively, like, that's my line against the fascia where the neighbour's house is. Then this is the piece of render along here, the patch render where we were. And then that's our long piece along the wall. And then we've got this piece here, which I was talking about whilst I was up there, which is that's where we're gonna meet our other piece of soffit board. So we're gonna cut this out now, and then I'm pretty confident with these measurements. It just might need a bit of trimming down to size when we're up there, but that's minute really. So we're gonna give this a go and then get it up there and fit it. So because this stuff's 80 quid a sheet, me and Phil are trying to get the most use out of the material. So on the diagram there, they're the measurements I've collected, and we're going to cut this piece up until the dotted line. So basically all of this is what we're going to be doing now, and then we're going to infill a piece there so as to cut down on material wastage. Right, that's it. That's that piece done. We're going to take that upstairs now and dry fit that, see how it works. We've got 2 track saws on the go, so we've got one down here and one up there just for any fine tuning, just to save going back and forth. Right, that's the piece of soffit board on. As you can see, we've got it tacked up now with 2 screws just to make sure we're happy that it fits nicely. We're going to take it off again now, mark up where the rafters are so we have fixing points, because obviously you're a bit blind when you've got it up there. Get some glue on that edge there, and then just check it runs nicely in line with all the others, because you want to look at it and make sure there's no waves in it. But I'm pretty happy with that, considering that's the first time I've done that just all by myself, because obviously Phil showed me a couple, but then this is my first one on my own, so it's worked out pretty well, I think. So get this all screwed up now and that'll be it.
This is a masonry bit, and I'm using the masonry bit to go through wood. So don't say in the comments why you're using the masonry bit for that. It's because this is the longest bit we've got that will get through this. So what we need to do, basically we're in a bathroom here, and one of the things that you need in a bathroom is extraction. We've got steels everywhere around this. So the only possible way we can do it to get any extraction out is to use a 225 by 25mm duct, which is compatible with a 4-inch, or allows the same volume of air to pass through as a 4-inch pipe. And we've got to go through there, through here, which will be all well and good, but in between here is a brick wall, which has got a wall plate sat on top and some lateral straps going down to try and hold everything nicely together, because this wall is a bit floppy. So we've got about this much timber to get through. So I'm now just using the masonry bit to get right the way through so I can punch a hole to the other side so I can see where I need to be before coming back to get through these. Because there's like a joist, then there's a gap, then there's the wall plate, and then there's a gap, and then there's a joist. So I need to basically get right through with that huge bit to know where I'm at. And then I can channel through here, and then we'll go over into that room. Let's go, go, go. So what we're going to do is basically I'm drilling through from the other side in that room, and then it's going to come through here, and then we've battened this ceiling down so we don't have to keep taking bits out of the joist. We don't want to be detrimental to the structural integrity of those. So we've put these battens on there, which is 25mm, which will allow us then to just basically chip out or cut out a section of the batten and then run all the way across over to here. Let's see if there's a light in that. No battery in that. Battery lights are brilliant, but you need to put batteries in them so then they work. Our ducting's going to come right the way across here and then come through into this area where we'll drill through the wall and put an air brick in, and then that will ventilate a straight run straight from the bathroom out to the front of the house. We're also going to have a T on here from the utility, because again we've got the same issue of actually getting ventilation out from the utility. So that will come out across here, join on. There'll be some backdraft connectors to stop any fume, smell, whatever you like to say, going from one into the other, and they'll both head out that way out the front. So that is why I'm struggling along in there to get this out. It's good fun. Right, so my hole has been made. I know then this hole is on that side of the cut through that I've made there. I'm going to use one of these because this is obviously the same diameter as the ducting that's coming through, and I can simply place that on there now to this side like so, mark around it, and I know if I go that way through I'm going to join up with the holes that I've made on the other side, because the last thing you want to be doing is trying to measure it and then you're basically blindly going through. So yeah, this way just means that it's a bit more surefire. It'll obviously be slightly off because it depends on the angle of the drill and all that sort of stuff, but hopefully I should be somewhere within the realms. I'll make it slightly wider anyway, so I'm not trying to force it through. It's got a nice bit of movement in there. That's it. I'll get a light set up as well so I can actually see what I'm doing. One bad thing about these, they always do that in the middle, so when you come to join them and seal them, you've always got this dodgy bit, so it's difficult because it's not flat, which is annoying. I know I'm at the edge of that hole, so I'll give it a little bit that side. Come over here somewhere, and rough line there and there. So you can see now, you can see how bowed this bloody thing is, but I'm just going to come straight across here like that. And I'm basically using a 32mm spade bit like this and just drilling multiple holes across, and then hoping that I can just get straight through. Might need to put an extension bar on this, about that long. It'll work. I'll make it work. So these bits are fantastic. So these are Bosch ones. They're great because they've got this thread on the end which actually screws into the timber, and then as it spins it obviously pulls it forward because it's constantly tightening into the timber. It is fantastic, but when you're going into some of this very seasoned timber, it can sort of work against it because it can just spin, and it basically creates a bigger hole than it needs to, so then it doesn't pull it forward enough, if that makes sense. So then you're fighting against it. That's why I'm putting it in and sort of wiggling side to side, because it's not doing its proper function. But that does mean that by doing that, it just works its way through the timber a little bit easier. This is not an ideal day to be doing this. My arms are aching already. Right then, so back to the patio. You can see now Alex is painstakingly cutting all of these tiles. Normally a patio doesn't have so many inspection chambers, but we've actually got 5 on this, plus 2 access panels for the drainage as well. So it's taken him a while to get through it, but he's smashing it. That's it, it's in. It's been an absolute pain because everything's on different levels and there's a wall in between this and a wall plate, so I've had to get through this joist, a bit of 4x2 flat which we put in to take this track in, then there's a gap, and then there's a wall which is a wall plate on top of that, and then we've got the same makeup on the other side. So overall I've had to get through like about this much, which has been fun. I've knackered my hand up, but it's fine, it's all in the name of progress. So I've managed to get this through, and in here we've got our connector. So we've got a flat to round connector. It's called that because it goes from flat to round, you guessed it. And then what's going to happen from here, there's going to be a flexi pipe which will come off and go into the back of the extractor fan, which will be here. Then that'll expel all the air, any condensation and stuff like that, straight out and out through the front of the property. So if we go back in that room, what we're going to have is this stuff here, which you've seen, which is already up there. That will run across over to here to approximately about that bay there. And then what we've got is one of these connectors, which will again have some flat to round connectors on it. They'll sit like this with some backdraft connectors on here to stop any airflow going the opposite way. And then there'll be a 45 degree, and then that flat ducting then will go straight the way over here and out through the wall. It's the only way we could do it, but it's a solution and it's perfectly within regs because the volume which goes through that flat ducting is exactly the same as what goes through this. That's it. Right, we are actually waiting for some connectors to connect the flat stuff together. So I'm gonna have to have a little hold off on that for a minute, but I can start getting the battens cut out ready in preparation, so we've got everything, it will just slot together and we can crack on with it. Right, and guys, that's it. Another episode is done. If you've enjoyed it, you know what to do, the usual thing. Thumbs up, subscribe. We've beat 100k thanks to you guys, so thank you. Next step, 250. Come on, if you're not subscribed, please make sure you do. Right, in next week's episode, you're gonna see some of this.
We've got the floor sanders coming.
Anybody who knows me knows I don't normally use this.
You can see the tiling is going on leaps and bounds. The guys are smashing the ceiling on. I'm seeing you in some precarious situations. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.